Hi Cancer, welcome to Sugar Free. This is your weekly reading for a week commencing Monday, 15th of October 2018. Hope you're well wherever you are, and warm and safe and well fed. All good here, bright and early. I was doing all the other weeklies yesterday and I got read out. So I had to take a break. So it's bright and early here in the south of England and just shuffling for your weekly reading for Cancer. Okay, here we go. One last cut. Okay, here we go, Cancer. We get the Hanged Man, Devil in reverse, the High Priestess. Okay. Right, well, no matter how many ways you look at something, the bit that is the hardest to see in order to sort of understand something so that you can move forward, the bit that is always the most difficult to see is our own our own hand in the authorship of whatever it is we're trying to figure out. That's the hardest bit. But if you can work out where, sorry, Cancer, I'm just going to come straight out and say it, where your own weakness contributes to your own problems, that is the most enriching and liberating aspect of understanding something that we don't understand. And once it's understood, and once we see that weakness for what it is, and we understand why it is there, we understand what purpose it serves, it can no longer operate in the same way ever again, because we've seen it, we've spotted it, and we are then able to truly move forward into new happiness, new wisdom, new compassion. And that's what we see here in the High Priestess, in the upright, as the key to power. How wonderful. This, the Devil in reverse, acting as the block or the drain or the fulcrum, the mediating force between these two. I mean, we've got here the Hangman in the upright. This is literally being suspended, or perhaps suspending judgment and looking at things this way, the other way, looking at it round the corner, looking at it from the side, looking at it straight up, upside down. But we're caught in that for the time being. It's sort of hesitation. It's like when the gears disengage from something and the wheels just kind of spin round, but they're not, the cogs spin round, but they're not engaged. So there's no forward motion. And that happens from time to time. The Devil in reverse here in this position, is the failure to, I know I'm so harsh, but this is Sugar Free, and I just cut to the chase. All right, I'm not going to like pussyfoot around. It's the failure, for whatever reason, and it's totally understandable, to engage with the bits of us that actually enjoy not being okay, because they're if we keep those bits of us that complain and that don't like the way it is, and that it's like the grain of sand in the oyster shell and it's that which makes the pearl. And there has to be in life some sort of irritation, something that we want to overcome, or we'll just kind of sit in blissful contentment like the High Priestess here, and never sort of create any forward motion. But when that grain of sand is something that we're kind of keeping there on purpose in order possibly to get some leverage over a situation, or in order to kind of push someone or something else into changing their behavior and the way they operate. That is not on, and that never leads to this. What this is telling me, what this is telling me is that the contentment that you want, and we all want it, is at the moment being masked by a kind of ersatz pseudo wish for contentment, which isn't really a wish for contentment. It's a wish to have things exactly as we want them. And those two things are not the same. Contentment is when whatever the situation is around you, you are so zoomed out and so uncontrolling and so unconcerned with how the world around you impacts on you. And it's not nihilism, it's compassion. That you understand that when things impact on you in ways that you don't like, they're just kind of doing their thing. And you know, if they're doing sort of like nasty things, then that's their lookout, not yours. That is contentment. And that contentment comes through compassion. And that compassion comes through a sort of an understanding that these weaknesses here in the devil card are present in all of us. And that no matter how sort of tempting it is to see yourself as the only one who doesn't have them, and that the weaknesses of others are impacting on you in ways that that you would rather they didn't, to see that that is not the case at all. You know, human frailty is present in all of us, and an acceptance of that is the key to accessing the infinite wisdom of the compassion, the infinite compassion of the High Priestess. But I need to look more carefully at this. Because when the devil is in the reverse, it's a kind of a falling out of the hooks. And the hooks are the blindness or the unwillingness to engage with our own weakness for a variety of reasons. But what I'm getting really strongly here is that there's a deliberate unwillingness or refusal or kind of blinkered thing going on in order to try to sort of force some sort of situation. And it ain't gonna get you nowhere, Cancer. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. Sorry, I'm trying to be more specific. It's complex. This is really foxing me. The fact that it's in this position in the reverse. I mean, if it was the right way up, it would be a lot clearer. It's just like, right, okay, well, you know, you're failing to acknowledge your own weaknesses, and if you did, you could be happy. But there's more to it than that. Yeah. Oh man, this is about the acceptance that whatever forces are acting on you that you can't control. And I mean, that in itself is a profound wisdom, that we cannot control that which is outside of us. We just can't. And the more we try, the worse it gets. The more we try, the more we fail, and the more we fail, the more we wish we could control it. It's about accepting that what is outside of us is beyond our control, and the only thing that is within our control is changing ourselves. We cannot change what is outside of us. And I mean, it sounds so simple and so cheesy, but it is profound. If you really, really take on board the fact that the things that you don't like about the world that you have to engage with, as I say, other people, rule systems, strictures and limits that are imposed on us by the outside, no one likes it. And no one likes the fact that other people don't do what we want them to do. But to be able to truly accept that they are force majeure, that you have no power whatsoever over what is around you and what is outside of you, it does bring an incredible sense of relief. And I know this from experience, an absolute turning point. To stop fighting, you just stop fighting. And when you stop fighting, you don't need to stay hung up in this tree anymore, trying to work out how to see things in order to get rid of the irritation. Because, if the irritation is kind of consciously or subconsciously kept there in order to try to force things around you to behave as you wish them to, it's not going to form a pearl. It's just going to form a bloody saw, a running saw. Right, I'm going to get some more clarification on this. Okay. Well, 10 of Wands here. I'm just going to lay this down because... all right, hold on. I'm going to go on and okay, I'm going to go... La. This is complicated. This is complicated. Yeah, this is about getting what you want or not getting what you want. And the burden of how you feel when you don't get what you want. Yeah, okay, I'm going to cut to the chase. If you can truly accept that what is outside of you is utterly beyond your control, that is a massive step towards controlling what is inside of you. Because then the energy that we put into wishing that things and stuff were other than they are can then be turned inwards and employed in the matter of changing ourselves, because the things that we don't like that are outside of us become burdensome to us, especially if we're like looking at it this way, looking at it this way, looking at it this way, trying to sort of find some way through so that we can actually control the situation. That is a burden. It is terribly tiring, and that's here in the 10 of Wands. Oh God, where was I going with this? Yeah, the fact that things outside of us are not the way we want them to be, and the effects that those things have on our lives, the limits and the strictures that they place and the burdens that they place on our lives, those limits and the wish to break through those limits, those strictures and the wish to kind of undo and cancel those strictures and those obligations and those burdens and the wish to kind of throw them off our shoulders, all those feelings are subjective. They are all our own interpretation of the data around us. And that's all they are. They're just feelings. For example, if you've applied for a job and you've sent all your application pack off and your resume, your CV and everything, you sent it all off and you don't get anything back. and you're like, oh God, why aren't they responding the way I want them to respond? All that is actually true is that they haven't come back to you. That's the only thing that's actually true. The rest of it is your own creation. And as I say, the only fact of the matter is that you sent a bunch of stuff off and nothing came back. That's the only thing that's actually true. But what's happening here is a terrible self-burdening, and I think even a kind of a willing self-burdening, because if you can let go of the sense of sort of being burdened by all this stuff, then you have to really face the world as it is, not mediated by all these sort of hurt feelings about things not being the way you wish they were. Then you can really face it for what it is. And when you can face that really for what it is, then you can face yourself for what it is. And that is the Empress in the upright. And that is, sorry, the High Priestess in the upright. And that is the key to power here. And ironically, the Seven of Wands we get here, which is all about sort of self-defense and all of this. What and you think, well, what's that doing there? Like, clarifying the High Priestess in the upright here, but it does work that way. Because if you can accept that you have zero control over what other people and other agencies other than yourself are doing, you suddenly become extremely strong. It is really ironic, but you become strong because you're not expecting anything of anyone. And that way you get to sit peacefully on your throne and just sort of work out what's going on inside yourself, and you take self-control. But this is the step towards self-control, is being able to understand you have zero control outside of yourself, no matter how much you wish you did. And I tell you what, if we all got the control of the world that we kind of wish we did, and we all got control of other people, we would drop it like a hot brick. We wouldn't like it. Just saying. Right, let's get one from Kuan Yin. Okay, yeah, there it is. Wow, how lovely. Grace in full flight. Full flight. Look how high in the sky she is. Now this reminds me very much of the High Priestess here. What's happened here is that she has understood that she has no control over gravity, and therefore it is meaningless to fight it. And as soon as she has taken that on board, she's floated up into the sky. I know, I'm sorry, this probably sounds so facile and so silly, but once you understand the nature of the limit, you don't even have to understand the reason of the limit. You don't have to understand the effects of the limit. You don't have to understand any of that. You just have to fully accept it for what it is. Suddenly, you become free. It's counterintuitive, but in my experience, it is the case. And having fully accepted the fact of gravity, she has overcome it and is now completely free and navigating her way in utter grace around the jet stream. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there, Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And if you would like a private reading, the information you need is in the description box below. All best. Cheers. Bye bye.